All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris here, Better Investing. Happy Monday. Today is December 29th, 2025. Got about two more trading days left in the year. It's probably a good time to do some recaps, right? Uh, and see what you did well, see what you did bad, and kind of work on that. I will admit right now, um, I have something to admit to, and it's very dirty of me because the last time I traded an option was September 15th, I want to say. And I haven't traded an option up until today. Um, I felt like, I broke my rule. Um, and I just want to kind of make, I'm sorry, the last day I traded was September 12th. Yep, September 12th. It was a Friday, I remember. Not that I remember, I went back and looked. Was September 12th. I haven't traded options since then. And then today I took options on Tesla, and I made almost a grand. And honestly, I'm trying to remind myself that yes, you can make quick money with options, but you can also lose very very quick money with options. Um, and I just want to be mindful of that and saying, I broke my rule today, right? I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to recognize what I did and make sure, hey, look, it's not something you need to do, right? Even though it worked, right? Even though I was profitable, I'm trying to, remind myself that, I've done better, I feel better when I trade shares, and not necessarily, go into the options, you know, play. And honestly, I wish I would have bought shares because if I did, I would have had a nice little opportunity to swing those shares, right? Rather than me cashing out those options because I damn sure wasn't going to swing those. But anyway, all right, let's talk about the market. All right, so we got a gap down today on the market. Market, closed about 0.36% on the day. All right, we did get brought up, right? We kind of wicked down. No gap down from these previous all-time highs. I don't know what the catalyst was. I know, like, I had all the metal shit got smoked on Sunday. I don't know how that played a part, but yeah, I mean, not too much to be concerned with. What I really was noticing is that I think this was. Let me go here. Go back to this. Turn on after hours so we can kind of see this specifically. I know I had this level from somewhere. Right. All right. So that was pre-market lows. Looks like, yeah, pre-market lows. We kind of undercut that. We kind of went higher after the fact, but and then I'll kind of go into why I was looking short on some things, why I was looking long on some things, right? Because I went long on FJet. We'll talk about that. Then I went short on Tesla. Finished my day. I was like, all right, I'm good. But yeah, I mean, we're just kind of trending down, lower, lower, and lower, right? And then we kind of undercut, recovered. So, I mean, it's nothing too concerning to be with. I mean, too concerning where the market's at right now. We'll go look at QQQ real fast. Looking at QQQ. So you'll take a look at QQQ. Um, Go here on the daily. Now, this thing was just nasty, right? This is just chopping. And I think this is, I wouldn't say I think, like, this was the frustrating part for me. I was like, man, there's just not that much shit that's really moving today. Um, I don't want to get chopped up. That's the one thing I want to be mindful of. And I think I talked about that last week. Like, when we came back from that holiday rally, we just kind of just chopped around. And I wonder, like, here's your holiday rally. What day did we come back? We came back on Monday, right? Exactly. Look, we came back that Monday, right after the Thanksgiving, break right here, right? We have that little Thanksgiving rally, pre-Thanksgiving rally, right, into Friday, right? Then Monday, we gapped down, right? We opened here at around 6:13, and we got brought up, right? We did get brought up, but like you see this action here, we just kind of just chopped around a lot, a lot of chopping happened here now, right? Right before the holidays, right before Christmas, right? Same type of move, right? Not as extended, right? Not as a big of a move, right? Come down, gap down, right? Are we just gonna chop around again into another box, right? I don't know, I don't know, right? But that's what I'm thinking about, right? You know, maybe we're gonna get a series where, you know, I'm just looking at QQQ right now, but maybe QQQ is setting up to break out this trend line. I don't know. I think I said I was gonna take this off. So, but yeah, I mean, not too much. We can go look at the silver and I guess the platinum trade. I mean, I didn't trade these. I mean, I'm not a commodities expert. I don't remember the last time you fucking traded like a chart like this or anything. But I mean, the move kind of occurred, overnight. And I was saying, I don't want to be the guy to kind of try to get here and try to get short. Now, if you were short, right, you put your balls on the table on Friday, expecting like this is the exhaustion move here, right? And then cool, right? But nothing was really like technical about that. More just a gamble, I would say. Unless you were able to kind of get short futures or something like that, or if your broker allows like overnight shorting, or if you're able to short early in the morning, then fine, right? You might have had an opportunity to take this down, but I mean, I don't know. I don't really see really where the opportunity was at unless you got short early in the morning, you know, 5 o'clock or some stupid shit. I don't know. I don't really see it. I mean, yeah, you have a little. I guess like for me, like again, I do like the day trade, so I mean this not a bad move here on the 5 minute candle. I mean that's relatively low risk, you can say, right? A break right here, and your stop is right here. Like how much are we risking, right? About 40 cents or so. To back down into these lows back here. I mean, it's about a 3 to 1 risk to reward. So I mean, you could have probably took that short, and I wouldn't have did the options, with the IV the way it is. I'm pretty sure those are pretty expensive, but if you wanted to short some shares, cool, right? You got a dollar or so move on it, I guess, $1.25 on it. But yeah, I mean, I just didn't really see it. So let's kind of talk about the one bad trade I think I had, and really I was trading this FJet. I do have a swing on too. I do want to talk about that. Very small. It's a short, but we'll go over it. I was trying to trade this FJet, and really I don't know what I was looking at. So like when I go here and I look at the 1 hour, right? I had this level right here, kind of pointed out like where it kind of got stuff. And let's do this, right? Let's turn this and let's go, right. So I don't know, this level right here kind of interests me. Like this is a big pop on Friday, and yeah, it got stuff, but we were kind of peaking above that right in the morning session, right? And this thing, like this is all the way up at $17. Like this stock really does move, which is a good thing and a bad thing, I guess, right? This is not bad. I can get almost $2 on something like this if it wants to move, right? And I was thinking of it in terms of like, all right, well maybe this is the sequence of a higher low, which is still possible. I think really it's probably best it is best to probably trade it over this. Like that's what really validates it. I guess I was looking at this maybe. Like, all right, that's another higher low, and if we are breaking above that. And I tried it on a 2 minute chart, right? So, you know, probably one of the reasons you don't want to trade off a 2 minute. You do get a lot of fake outs. Let's kind of just look at it real fast. If we go to a 2 minute chart real fast. Where's it at? Yeah, here it is. So I seen this in the morning, right? This had popped up to $16, right? And I tried it after we got this hold right here, right? We got this hold right here at the VWAP and the EMA, and I tried it right over here, right over like 1541. Now the bad thing about these as well is that by the time this happened, it had like a 20-cent spread. I was kind of pissed about that because in the beginning the spreads were very, very tight, right? And then once this triggered, I don't know, the fucking spreads just like they just dissipated. I'm like, what the fuck, right? So I'm in on this, and it just never got moving. and I ended up getting stopped out down here around like 14 like 80 or so, like 1478 or so, because of the fills were just so bad. Like the spread was just so bad. And I was like, fuck. All right, so I took a loss on that, and I was kind of upset because I thought this could have a little move to the upside, but I mean, that's what you get, right? So like that happened early in the morning, a little frustrated about that. And you know, the one thing about like day trading, you don't need to like go find the next opportunity, right? Like sometimes you just gotta take a step back, right? That was something you were looking at, higher time frame. All right, cool. Just kind of digest that, right? And kind of just see like what's going on, right? This is an early move I was looking for, right? Trying to get position, didn't work out. And I think for me, like I was just like looking around. For example, like let's go to like BE. I think I was just looking around at some of the like high beta stocks, um, and like this had already occurred, but around like 10 o'clock, like, it was just trading sideways. And like, what did it do for the rest of the day? Yeah, just traded sideways for the rest of the day, pretty much. Like, so this was a nasty one, right? Already kind of dumped off at 9:44. What was another one I was looking at? Was it okay? I think it was MBIS. MBIS, I think, kind of had some sideways looking action. Right? It was just a lot of this, like, and I was getting frustrated. Like, man, I'm like, man, I don't want to fucking trade this. Like, it's just this trading sideways. Like, it just didn't really do anything. Right? Okay, and then the day it did, right? The green move right here, but I mean, yeah, I seen this across a lot of stocks that I was looking at. Not necessarily like I wanted to like fully focus in on trading, but I just seen that across a lot of things. Like what does Cipher do? This is one I was thinking about. Right, like it was just looked like this. I'm like, man, this thing just trading sideways. Right, and I try to recognize chop. Right, and I try to stay the fuck out of it. So like when I'm looking at this, right, like this is what I see at that particular time, right? Let's say around 11 o'clock. This is what I see. I just see chop. I'm like, man, this thing done dumped off. I don't want to try to long this. Right? It's not until any specific spot. I don't want to short it right here in the middle of the range. So, yeah, that was kind of what I was saying. But I took a loss on that. But the good trade, and again, I'm not happy. I'm happy about the P&L, right? But I'm upset that damn, this thing's actually down a little bit more. I'm upset that I ended up getting in on this trade, and I actually didn't even execute it like the best entry wise. So if you recall, I traded Tesla on Friday, um, back here. Right here, it was almost an undercut of the EMAs at that particular time. So if we go to like a 5 minute. We go back. We still should have it. The EMAs, we can't see it on this one. Let me go here. Hold on. Let's do this. This is Friday. Yeah. So I kind of caught this undercut right here. And, I got a nice move up to about like 480, you can say. But again, like I took off the rest, when it broke like this trend line. I drew a trend line from like this. Like you kind of see like the higher lows. That's a good thing about like when you're in a trade, you still have to like analyze your trade, right? Manage your trade. And I just kind of drew like something like that, and I was like, well, that's my higher low for the day, right? And then it kind of did this, and I just got the fuck out. And honestly, I'm happy I did because there's no way I would have swung it because I was in down here, and I'm pretty much break even, right? And again, like for me, like when I want to swing something, the way I like to look at it is like the stock has to earn its right to be swung in my portfolio, right? It has to earn its right to be swingable. If that's a word. And the one thing I kind of look for is for it to kind of get away from my cost basis to give me a little bit of cushion for any overnight risk. Because if I did kind of swing these right 475 or so where I got in at, well, look what happened. We gapped down to 470, right? Well below where I was probably thinking for a stop at that time was low of day 473, right? So I have that overnight gap slippage, right? Where now if I did take this overnight, right, I'm saying well I'm risking down to 470, right? I mean 473 or 474, you can say, right? But now my my risk just increased overnight, and it gaps down to 469. All right. So I mean that's the reason why I always look for things to kind of get away from my cost basis, um, and I kind of work off of there. But yeah. So for this trade right here, really what I was looking at was one, right? This did have like a nice little, I guess you'd call like a undercut. And I guess this is the EMA 20, right? But the volume's not there, right? You see this volume here, like the volume never really peaked right here. Rather than like if we go back to Friday, right, when we had that situation. Let's go back here. Come on, don't slow down on me now. Right, you kind of see the volume here, right? The volume just really started, like really popped up right here, right? And that's the thing about like your volume analysis, price action, technical analysis, like seeing that. Like I seen this volume come in here. This is looking at a 2 minute, right? And I see this volume coming in here. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, that's a lot of volume, for the opening session. But look at here, like there's that volume doesn't really come on. That volume. Let's do this. Let's take this down. The volume doesn't really stand out to me here. It should be very obvious. Like you should see like that volume like really increase. Like you want to see something like that area here at these lows. Like you want to see like this right here. You want to see that volume bar look like that. And I'm not saying it has to look 100% like that, but that's kind of like how I look at volume. Right? I want to see like at those lows that volume really comes in. Right, so let's kind of draw this again. Right here at these lows. Right, look at the volume. Not even above average. Right, I want to see that volume look like that. Right, I really want to see it peak above. All right, and I did not see that on this undercut of the EMA 20, and it came into a level I didn't have a level there. Like on Friday, I had a level. I deleted my level, but this was like the previous Friday lows. I probably should bring that back. This was the previous Friday lows, like December 19th. But look at the volume that came in right here. Right, you see the difference in the volume right here as it comes in, and that's what I kind of like interpret and analyze. Just looking at the volume, man, this is probably a good spot, right? So I was able to kind of get short. I got in a little late, I will admit. Now looking at it, ideal entry probably would be for me the way I like to intraday trade is somewhere around here, right? But I got in around I think 12.26 and 12.27. Got in somewhere around here, right? Got in somewhere around here. But what I noticed was this rejection at highs, right? The high day, we did gap down, right? So some folks are probably a little stuck in their longs, right? Hoping that this will reverse, and then it doesn't reverse, and then again, looking at what occurred after the fact, man, I need to bring those levels back. Looking at what occurred after the fact, like I think previous all-time highs. I gotta do this again. So let's do this. All right. This is previous all-time highs. 488.54. Right now, if I go back to a daily chart, right, you don't know if something's distroing until like after the fact, or if it's accumulating until after the fact. Right. It's very hindsight, should I say? All right, so I'll put that on here, and it didn't go on my daily. Let's do this. All right, let's go back to this chart here. All right, so you don't know if something is distributing, until after the fact, right? But now, when you look at this, this action here. Right, it's almost like this does look a little distribution, up here around this 500 location, right? It didn't really do anything. It traded sideways, right, for the most part up in here, right? Let's do this, right? You see this action here? It just kind of just trades a little sideways, right? Just kind of just trading in a box, right? Right, and then you get a gap down, right? It kind of changes the story, right? on what people are interpreting, and you always try to think about, if you are looking to go long, if you are looking to go short, think about what the opposite side is saying. Right? That's probably a good thing to say. So again, like I noticed that um, up there in their higher day, and we'll go look at something else that I looked at. But I kind of noticed this at higher day and around like 11:50, so like this kind of distros off, and we go to SPY. I mean, SPY didn't look like it was about to reverse, right? So we go to like 11:50. SPY's down here, right? SPY is down here near the lows, right? It does undercut, right? But I mean, I'm looking at the hourly candles, right? I don't look intraday really on. I mean, I don't look like really small time frames on on the markets, and that's one thing I do not trade indices no more. I can tell you that I do not trade indices no more. But like I'm looking at this, right? This candle is very bullish in the morning, right? Then it got stuff, right? Here's your 10 o'clock candle. Here's your 11 o'clock. Right, you can kind of like this is trending downward, right? And I'm looking at Tesla kind of reversing. We'll go back and look at that. Let's go look at QQQ real fast. We look at Tesla, kind of reversing. Um, but SPY doesn't give you that look like it's about to reverse, right? And I'm like, so you're telling me Tesla is going to reverse and the whole market's not really going to have that same look? And that's how I was thinking of it. And I'm like, man, this doesn't look like it's something that's going to reverse, right? And this is around that 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock time. And I'm looking at Tesla. I'm like, man, this doesn't look like it's going to do that. And let's go look at Tesla hourly real fast. Looking at Tesla hourly. So right, so again, I got short this candle here, but I got short like probably somewhere around here, which probably is a great spot actually. I need to make sure I look at that next time. That's the hourly open. Let me see. I'm pretty sure that's near where I got short at, right underneath it. Yeah, bingo. Yeah, this is exactly where I got short at. I got short right here, right underneath that hourly open, right? We kind of get that stuff, and that's exactly where I get in at, right? So yeah, and I got this move down, and again, I made almost $1,000, but at the same time, I'm like, man, why didn't I just trade my fucking shares, right? Because again, I would like to get in on something like this, grab 100 shares, right? I probably would have peeled something off, somewhere down here. So I wouldn't have made the same amount, but at least I would have stuck to what I've been trying to trade. So, yeah, this is good for me. I got in right here, below the hourly open. Um, so yeah, that was the good trade for me, right? If I had 100 shares and I hold this all the way down, it's around $1,000 too. Right, but if I would have held those fucking options at the same time, this is probably like a 2 grand move, honestly, because those are in the money now. I had the 460s, so the only trade that I got right now is this Dell. I'm swinging short Dell. Um, I'll kind of go to this, look at it real fast. I got a really good entry on this, so I'm kind of happy about that, and I'll tell you why I'm kind of short. So I got in. Let me show you. Right, I kind of just noticed this wedging. I would say it looks like a bear flag to me, right? Yeah, it's holding the 200-day, right? But shorter time frame, like they're trending down, right? And I was looking at this, and I'm like, man, this has that look right there, right? And I wanted to get a good entry, and I got in damn near close to high day, like 128.90 or something, somewhere around here. I got in at, and the reason why I'm going to swing this is because, well, I got in around, let's say 128. It should be like 128.90 or so. All right, if I got in right here, right, and it closes down here, well, I got somewhat a nice cushion, right? This moves $5 a day, right? But I have somewhat of a cushion, and it's kind of away from my cost basis, right? So that's the way I was looking at it. And I mean, we'll see what happens, right? I'm looking to see if I could, get into the bottom of this range here, right down into here, right, and I'll look to take most of it off. Right, again, it's a very small position. I do not recommend swinging a very large position overnight. I've heard of individuals blowing up when a stock gaps up on some acquisition news, right? Definitely don't want to overnight any bio shorts, right? They gap up on some cancer research, or just a squeeze, right? Gap up and squeeze, right? Stocks typically go up, so you gotta be mindful of that. But that's the one trade I do have on. I grabbed that. I put my stop in, which was up here above Friday's high. And again, I got in somewhere around here. And I put my stop like 130 on this, right? So again, it's moving away from my cost basis. I do like the short. You look at here on the hourly, you can kind of see it a little easier if I take off, pre-market. This looks like somewhat of a bear. It looks like a bear flag. That's the bear flag I'm seeing. So that's kind of what I'm trading. All right. No, we never got another touch up here, but that's kind of what I see. All right. So we'll see what happens. All right. If I can get down to 120, I'll look to take some off. All right. If it starts to work more tomorrow, right, break 126, 125. All right. I'll consider moving my stop to like break even. But yeah. But yeah, man, that's really about it. That's really it here. So I'll leave it like that. And yeah, peace. God bless.